better than Christmas.
Hold that mic over there.
Oh,
better than Christmas music.
Yeah.
Which starts before Thanksgiving now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it starts at the end of
It's
October.
like Black Friday starts before
Everything does.
Thanksgiving. Sad. Where's tradition in this world? What have we come to?
ThinkingRealEstate.com with the Schlecke family back on the air.
That's
It's
right.
kind of the Christmas edition here.
What did you do last week? Did you play a pre-recorded program of us, or did you just play
I
Christmas
think we
music?
did have we at least had one segment. Yeah, we had the best of.
Oh.
The
okay.
best,
Best of the
Thinking
morning
Real
show.
Estate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd be curious to know which one you picked. Because you know what I was doing
So
last
would I.
week? Were you sleeping?
I just picked one.
Oh, okay.
They're all good, so I didn't have to listen to it.
That's true. That is absolutely
And I had
true.
heard it previously.
Yeah, so you knew what you were going to say. You know what?
So you
Did you
weren't
have a
listening
nice
then.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You?
I had an awesome.
Good.
It was it was probably the best Thanksgiving I've ever had.
Fantastic.
You know what I did?
Yeah.
Jackie
Yeah.
and two of Bill's kids, Emily and Adam, came over and we did the turkey trot.
Could you get up and do that now?
Is that like Gundam style?
Yeah.
And Bill was at
Cool.
home
Baking?
baking. He made turkey bacon, turkey sausage, and I had made an egg bake. And so we did breakfast, and that was our Thanksgiving.
Cool.
Wasn't that great?
It was a phenomenal Thanksgiving.
It was awesome.
It was wonderful.
Bill even came down.
So were you running, walking, or trotting?
I did both.
Okay.
I'm more of a trotter.
A plotter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jackie and I started doing those series on my birthday, November 10th. So the first one we did was the Habitat Run Walk,
Okay.
and then Turkey Trot, and next one is the New Year's Eve one, I think. I haven't seen it come across City Council, so if they're going to do a New Year's Eve one, I hope they get it in front of City Council. Heads up out there.
Just to give you a heads up, I won't be here on New Year's Eve, so you'll be doing it on your own. I'll be gone. Okay. So anyway, yeah. Before you start, and whatever subject matter you pick, you know, Greg, that she doesn't tell me in advance what she wants me to talk about.
Well,
or to
there's
talk
a
about.
there's
Okay?
a method to her
I get
madness.
it.
Right.
I get it. But
Yeah.
I promise I was at Starbucks this morning again for the usual board of directors meeting. When I don't have to be in court or in a meeting or teaching, I go to Starbucks up there at 94 and West Ave. And Josh, the manager, he insisted that I give not only him a shout out, but the Starbucks crew. But we have a board of directors meeting there at Starbucks for whoever happens to show up. So, all right. So what are we?
How
What
many-
are you,
how many
what
showed
are you
up today?
directing?
Oh God! By the time everybody comes and goes, I usually, if I don't have something to do, I'm usually there for about an hour in the morning, returning emails and stuff like that. So there were probably 7 or 8 people who come in, stop, shoot the breeze for a minute or two.
My father
and then
used to
leave.
do that, but he'd go to Jacobson's.
Yeah.
And they'd
Yeah.
have a round table in the corner.
I appointed myself as the chairman of the board for that particular group. So far, no one has challenged it, but I expect that they probably will. And it's a titular title only, so I don't have any power whatsoever.
Did you solve any problems, though?
No, not really.
Okay.
But it's a good political. I will say, you know, now that I've moved permanently to Jackson, that I have a whole bunch of wonderful friends over here. Some who are conservative, some who are moderate, some who are liberal, and the conversations that take place, whether it's at Starbucks or elsewhere, are always good conversations. Nobody gets overly passionate, and everybody thinks
Are you
considers
sure?
everybody else's.
Are
Yeah.
you sure, Bill?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay.
Okay.
They're respectful of each other's
Positive.
opinions.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. So it's a pretty good crowd. So anyway, I told you what I thought we ought to talk about this morning.
Did you?
And what? Yeah, because of I've said this before.
Well, I have a shout out before you start.
Go for it.
Yeah, what's your shout out?
My shout out is to Chuck Walls. I just met him. He's works for the Road Commission,
Oh,
and I'm told by the guys down at the
I know
county.
Chuck.
Do you?
yeah.
I'm told he's down. I'm told by the guys down at the county GIS, Scott Ames, and I just met Nick Nolte.
Who knew?
I know that he's also known as Chucky
Okay.
Walls. So, hey, Chucky. He says he listens. So
Well, you'll find out.
He's a balloon pilot.
that's what he said. That's what he said. So what do you want to talk about? now?
Excellent.
Well, no, what I had mentioned to you the other day is that just within the last 2 days, I've gotten calls from residential borrowers who still are in distress. You said you said that you're seeing people who are not in distress, but again, I see it from a different angle. Oh, before we do that, I should probably also make the announcement that I have finally hired an associate, young man by the name of Jeff Fraunfelker. Starts on Monday, and I'll tell you what, I've been swamped with work, so I'm anxious.
Small world.
Why do you say that?
Well,
Because he's a
I know
German?
Jeff.
Because it's Fraunfelker?
No.
Fraunfelker and Schlechte.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's a friend of mine by the name of Tom Hunsdorfer, but he's not a lawyer, but we'll bring him in. So it's Hunsdorfer, Schlechte, and Fraunfelker, right?
Hoffmeister and
There you go.
the rest of them.
There you go.
Well,
Wow.
good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Jeff's a great kid. Great guy.
Yeah, he seems like
Not
a
a
very
kid.
nice-
He's
Well, he's Jack's age.
yeah.
Did he
He's
go
a
to, did he go to school
2010
with
grad
Jack?
from law school, been in practice up in Lansing, so he's coming to me with some experience, which is what I need, and I need help
He
desperately
starts
in court,
Monday.
etc. So, yeah.
We just got to decide what to call him because we already have a Jeff. And his initials are Jeff. But I saw somewhere on Facebook, I think it's J. Emmett Fraunfelker. So
Well-
I said, he doesn't know this. We're going to call him Emmett.
Well, but the reason I mention that is because the two people who called me in the last 2 days, two different potential clients, I have to turn away, and I've said this before, because residential borrowers who are in distress usually don't want to throw money to a lawyer when they can use that money for purposes of paying down the mortgage balance or paying down on a deficiency, etc. And so I give them a little bit of advice in that regard, but the best advice I can give them is my rates are too high for them to be able to do it. But having a young associate come in, the rates are lower, you're able now to service a larger population. So I'm hopeful that for all of these people who are in desperate straits because of being underwater in their properties or having difficulty in their mortgages, there are a bunch of things that they can do, but they just don't know it because they can't afford a lawyer to be able to help them out. So at any rate.
So will Jeff work here in Jackson?
Yeah, I'm actually in the process. I've got an unstaffed office now in Ann Arbor. We still have our building and still have the office over there, but we'll ultimately sell that building.
Oh, you're
lease
moving
it
here?
back. We're in the process. I have an office here.
Break out the party hats.
Yeah.
Bill's moving here. I've already been here.
Well,
Let me make that quite clear.
Well, yeah. I know you have several residents.
But my practice is all over the state, and I
Right.
actually have cases in a couple other states, and so being in Jackson, it doesn't really affect me in terms of the practice that I have. So it'll work out great to actually have the permanent office or main office here in Jackson. It's interesting. There was a profile on me in the legal news this last week, and they
I
asked
missed that.
one of the questions.
Several people have not, though. I
Well, but-
haven't had a chance to read it, but
But
I've
one of
heard.
the questions they asked is, where do you want to be when you're 90 years old? And my response to that was practicing law full time, spending 3 months somewhere in a warmer climate in the wintertime, but 9 months up here, looking forward to another 10 years of legal practice, so I'm going until 100. That'll be interesting.
As long as he's still sane.
Compos mentis. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right.
So what will Jeff do for you? He'll just handle some of the...
We'll still
Minutia?
we're a real estate practice. So I've been in practice 40 years, so my hourly rate is commensurate
Well, he
with
asked
the
what you were
experience,
gonna
etc.
do.
So what Jeff will be doing real property law as well, but he'll be able to do some of the residential things that
Landlord,
I
tenant?
haven't been able to do, including landlord tenant, including helping people who are buying or selling residences, because I really don't do much of that. It's just not, there's not a cost benefit for most people unless it's a real high-end residence. So he'll be able to do the lower-end stuff.
Are you taking calls?
Yes, I would love a call.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
As a regular listener, I'd say this is one of the most intelligent programs on the air, next to a Dog and Bounty Hunter motivational seminar. But it really is interesting. I'm looking for lakefront property, and I'm just wondering how difficult it is to find out whether or not all of the houses that may be behind you can throw a dock on your space or use a dock on your space, or if they have rights or no rights to the lakefront that you would have as a purchaser of a lakefront spot on any of the many wonderful Jackson County lakes?
Well, that's an excellent question.
Are you going to hang up and listen?
Do I have to?
Okay, here's the answer to your question. First of all, you're going to get a title commitment. The title commitment will tell you whether or not there's any easement or right of anybody else across your property. That doesn't solve your problem. The next thing you need to look at is what is the status of adjacent or nearby properties. And for example, if you are next to a platted road end in a subdivision, even though it may be unimproved, nevertheless, under recent court decisions and a statute here in Michigan, that road end may be accessible by not only others in the subdivision, but by members of the public. If it's in a subdivision as well, you need to look at what the subdivision plat says, whether or not there are any accesses for backlot owners. So what you would do is go to the title insurance company, get title insurance on or commitment on the property you're looking for. Ask the title insurance company to look at the plat, give you a copy of it, give you a copy of the subdivision restrictions, rules, regulations, etc. Also have it to do, and it might do this for free, take a look at what those adjacent properties are, and then I'd also go to the municipality, the township, and see what the township's position is with respect to backlot access to the lake. Understand that many municipalities also have what are called funnel ordinances or keyhole ordinances prohibiting access by backlot owners. So those are the sources that you go to in order to find out whether anybody else, and also go talk to the neighbors. I always tell people, whether it's lakefront property or not, go talk to the neighbors, see whether or not there are any issues, any problems in the area generally, and also you can find out things about the property you're purchasing itself, because they say, oh yeah, the Smiths were good friends of ours, boy, they've been having problems with the foundation, or my God, it floods every spring. So you can find out stuff from the neighbors that you can't find out from the government sources or from the title insurance company. Does that help?
He's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
We cut him off.
Oh, okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I should also mention on lakefront, you also want to make certain that you have riparian access to the body of water. And I mentioned this a few months ago, I think it's in Lake Columbia, where you don't actually own to the water's edge, that the association owns the strip of land around the lake, so you don't have riparian access, you don't own the bottomlands, and you can't get riparian access unless you're a member in good standing of the association. We used to be able to get what were called riparian endorsements. We go to the title insurance company, we're on a lake, we get an endorsement from the title insurance company that says, yes, we insure or guarantee that you have riparian rights and access. It's much more difficult to get these days because title insurance companies have been burned on those endorsements.
But certainly you would know that going in to Lake Columbia, right?
Yeah, in Lake Columbia, you know that there are a couple of parcels, as I understand it, that actually front on the lake. These are before Lake Columbia itself was all platted out. But most of those properties, as I understand it, do not have lake access. And yeah, you find that out on the front end, and it actually shows up in the title commitment that you don't have riparian access. I mean, you always got to look at your title insurance commitment anyway, just to see what the exceptions and exclusions are.
Well, there you go. Good time to buy lakefront property.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you say that?
Why?
Well, the ones that
Because
are
you're
on
going
the
to be able to
market.
walk on the water before too
Exactly.
long. What's the rationale?
Well, because the ones that are on the market, the people are motivated to sell.
Because they want to move south, or what?
No, there are various reasons. People, a lot of them are second homes. Maybe they can't afford them anymore. What I'm seeing is a lot of downsizers. People have 2 or 3 homes, and they don't want to own 2 or 3 homes anymore. So the people from Detroit might be selling their local second home that they've owned for 20 or 30 years.
How are they moving?
What do you mean? With a moving
Are they
truck?
selling? No. How are they selling?
Yeah.
Okay. Lakefront
Oh, you
properties.
mean how are people? Are
Is
they
it a tough
are
sell?
people-
Easy
No,
sell?
I think people always say I'm going to wait until spring to put my house on the market. But if someone's out there looking to buy a house, they're looking to buy a house. They're not going to wait until spring.
No, what he's asking, I think, is lakefront property versus non-lakefront. I mean, historically, lakefront property has always been at a premium. I mean, people,
Right.
and again,
Well, I just ran
depends
some
on the lake.
statistics on Lake Columbia, as a matter of fact, and it appears, I don't have them in front of me, but over the last 2.5 years, the number, it really dropped in price and it has stabilized. It hasn't really gone up. It's a very neglect.
The days on market was really low on that one. I don't
Yeah,
remember what
right.
it was, but like
So
under
they are
100.
selling quickly because especially at Lake Columbia, they're priced really well. I mean, they're the lowest you've ever seen them.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
You know, and your caller, actually, that was a really good question, because the properties that, if I get involved in a residential property as a real estate lawyer, I would say that the proportion is much greater that it's a lakefront property, because many buyers on lakefront, on lakes, have that same concern, namely, what's it going to be like when I actually move into this property? Am I going to have a bunch of partiers and teenagers on the road end next to me? All that sort of stuff.
That
And
depends on the
we do
lake.
get involved. And also, I get involved after the fact. Somebody's bought the property. I mean, over the 40 years in practice, if I was picking a single type of property dispute that I've litigated, far and away it would be lakefront disputes between adjoining property owners who value the lake frontage so much. I mean, I had a case in northern Michigan on Crystal Lake, one of the nicest lakes in the country, really. And it was a 13-foot strip, went all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court, and the lawyers ended up calling it the Golden Triangle, because it was 13 feet on Crystal Lake, went to a point up on the Lakeshore Road. I mean, but they fought tooth and nail over this particular piece, as I say, for years, all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court. And I've been involved in dozens and dozens of property, hundreds of property disputes, probably at least 50%, maybe more, of which have been lakefront disputes. Mostly between adjoining property owners, some between the lakefront owner and the subdivision, some between the lakefront owner and the association
Some out in the
and
water,
the township.
and where the
Oh,
dock
and then,
can go.
also those that involve the bottomlands.
But now is the
putting
time, we're
docks
running
in.
out of time,
Okay.
and I can tell you could go on for a while.
Yes.
I wasn't sure there was a breath coming, so I had to interrupt before Greg cuts us off. So now is the time. Actually, I've seen lakefront properties sell more in December than any other time. Anyhow, I have a new listing, 940 Ellery. Cute, very cute house. It's on a corner lot, 49.9. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 792 square feet. It's cream puff, all brand new on the inside. Very cool.
Ellery in what corner?
Virginia Way or Virginia Court. Or
Virginia Court.
Okay.
And then we have a price reduction at 6993 Brown Road. Again, another cream puff, 2-bedroom, large 2-bedroom, hardwood floors, 2 full baths, and then a walkout basement that you could do a lot. You could add 2 more bedrooms down there. That one's down to 159.9. And then 2228 Linda Court, which is off of Horton Road in Lakewood Glen subdivision. That's down to 177,195. That's a great house too. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, on and on and on. Call me, 780-3800.
Or your website.
780-3800.com.
Or your website.
That's it.
Thank you.
ThinkingRealestate.com.
Thank you.